Hello everybody, this is Ope from Fab Trips, and I hope you're preparing for your next fabulous trip. Today is really not an advice day or tips or tricks day, although I think at the end of the day it's going to end up being that. But it's more of a rant. Okay, no, I won't rant and I don't rave. But I have a problem with people who are going after Carnival cruises. If you've been following what's going on in the cruising family, in the cruising community, for those who know Don's Family Vacations, he cancelled his next trip, I think it's next week actually, on the Mardi Gras. And his reasons are actually quite genuine. I mean, they're real reasons. Well, everybody has a reason and they're real, but I can understand his reasoning. It's a logistical nightmare and it's underpinned by the fact that Carnival will not do COVID tests for him to return home to Canada. If he lived in the United States, he would have gone on that cruise. But because of his flights, everything was really just a mess, just because he cannot get testing in time for him to get on his plane back home. And completely understandable. If you've listened to the La Lida Loca family, Tony and Jenny, you'll understand that their reasoning for canceling their trip is actually it makes sense. I mean, I'll do the same thing. It's a health reason that they're complying with, or they're trying to keep to, so as not to prevent something more catastrophic or devastating in the future. And I'll do that. Anybody should do what they have done. But for other people who are raising reasons like Carnival Cruise Line booked up to 70% capacity, so the ship was too crowded, or the buffet was self-service, or there were no mask guidelines on the ship. What? Really? That is your excuse? First of all, let us start with the fact that you knew this before going on board. You knew that Carnival was not going to do service buffet. It was going to be self-serve buffet. You knew that there was no mask guidance on the ship. You knew all these things, and yet you went on the cruise only to come out and complain about it. I mean, to what purpose? Really, you knew about it. You went for it. You didn't like it. Keep quiet and move on. You don't have to make a big splash about the fact that, oh, Carnival did this, Carnival did that, and because of that, I'm not going to cruise with them until maybe the next time things change. No. Really. At the end of the day, let me tell you something. Let's tackle some of those things. First of all, capacity. The capacity that Carnival chose was based on the information they had about the coronavirus infections at that time. At the time they set up the booking, at the time they were taking bookings from guests and customers, at the time they were setting up their protocols, their requirements, the infection rates of COVID was at a historic low. It was going down so low. It was pretty much 10,000 new cases a day. That is a good thing. And of course, if I'm Carnival Cruise Line, why would I undercut my sales when the problem is declining? I wouldn't do that. And any good business would not do that either. And let's not forget that these cruise companies have been out of commission for 16 or more months, and they are literally bleeding cash. So the best thing for them to do is to take advantage of what's coming. Now, what was coming up was very simple. Infection rates were very low. Vaccination rates were actually high. They were going on a vaccinated cruise. That's 95% guests and 98% crew vaccinated. I think in the case of Carnival, it was pretty much almost 100% of crew were vaccinated. If I am Carnival and I'm looking at those numbers, I'm looking at the infection rates, of course, I'm going to book the max that I can. And if their max they're thinking is 70%, I'll do that. Mask requirements, yes, if everybody, pretty much everybody on board is vaccinated, why am I putting in a max requirements? Look, what's the third one? Testing. Why would I test? Everybody is vaccinated. Look, at the end of the day, what they did was follow CDC guidelines for people who are vaccinated, and that's what they did. So for people coming out after the fact to say that, Carnival did this, Carnival did that, Carnival had more than 70%, I think it's all, excuse my French, hogwash, and really, it's kind of disingenuous. So for all you out there, it's simple. The reality is things are changing by the day, really. I got an email this morning, probably going to be yesterday morning by the time this airs, from MSC saying they have changed their boarding requirements. For people who are fully vaccinated, now they have to be tested before they can get on the ship, at least for North America. Things are changing. And so you can't blame Carnival for a decision they made when case counts were approaching 10,000 new cases a day to when they actually sailed and case counts were almost 200,000 new cases a day. Different scenarios completely with this coronavirus. And so when people go after Carnival, I would say think about it. And one of the things about Carnival is now they have implemented testing before you can get on board. They've implemented face masks since then. But let's be honest. If you're one of the 4,000 passengers that were on Mardi Gras and you received a letter or an email a week before sailing saying, sorry, because of the new COVID situation, we have had to remove 2,000 guests from sailing. Would you want to be the 2,000 guests that Carnival was going to kick off? Or how would you expect them to choose who to kick off the cruise? What were they supposed to do? The best thing they did was what they did at that time. Now, you could argue that they reacted a tad bit slowly. Yes, maybe they should have implemented it sooner rather than later. But they did implement the mask mandates. They did implement more social distancing, and they did implement testing before getting on board. The worst and the most difficult thing for them to implement is telling people, sorry, the ship is overcrowded, we're going to give you future cruise credit, which means they're actually going to be burning more cash, they're going to be losing out more, or saying they're going to refund to their customers. They were never going to be going to do that. Trust me, they were going. If what they did was to turn people away because they felt that they had signed up more people for the cruise than they want to, more people would have been angry. You would have gotten more angry people, more annoyed people, more livid people than you see today complaining about the fact that their show had this, or people were packed like sardines in different venues and there was no masking requirements, it was lax, it was loose, nobody was enforcing hand washing. Oh, come on, please, you're going on a cruise, it's during a pandemic. Do you really need anybody to be trying to enforce these rules? Look, I'm planning to go on a cruise shortly, and one of the things I have made up my mind that I am not going to do is I am not going to attend any of the shows where people are crowded or not even crowded. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still suffering from post-COVID traumatic stress disorder, PCTSD, yes. So I am not going to do things that will put me in harm's way in any way, shape, or form. The same precautions I take right now on land is the same precautions I am going to take when I'm on a cruise ship. I'm going to avoid crowds. If I go to a show and I realize that it's not really packed, I'll do it. I can social distance. I am going to follow the rules to protect myself as much as I can. I'm going to always wash my hands, try and keep things clean as much as I can. Guess what? I'm going to do room service as well. Look, not everyone is like me. A lot of people are social and they like to mix with people, like to meet new people. But we are in special times when we're facing extraordinary circumstances. And based on that, you need to do what best works for you. So here's what I would say. Know the requirements of your cruise before you get on the cruise. Don't get on the cruise and then start complaining about it. Know the requirements. If the requirements do not work for you, then don't go on the cruise. Try and find a way to extricate yourself. And the great thing is a lot of cruise lines, if not all cruise lines, have a flexible system where you can, I think up to 48 hours, you can withdraw or ask or push your cruise to a future date. A lot of the cruise lines do that these days. So you're not bound to go on Carnival cruise or any cruise for that matter. I hope that was helpful. There was also news lately that there was some retirees who couldn't get on their cruise because they didn't know what the requirements were. And that really just, really it broke my heart, because I put them in the position of my parents. They go online, but they are not essentially that savvy. And a lot of times as their agent, I give them all the information. Not only do I give them all the information electronically, I print it out for them to go on the cruise or whatever trip they need to go to do because they are just not very used to going online. So it hurt me. I felt for them, really. It really should not have happened to them. And I wonder who their cruise agent is or their travel agent is. But here's the thing. The next video I'm going to release will be just showing everyone where they can get the information they need to understand the coronavirus COVID requirements for their cruise. Know whether you have to be vaccinated or not. You need to know whether you have to do testing, what kind of documentation, whatever it is you need for your cruise. But the most important thing is this. And I did that and I listed this in my last video. You can see it up here. But the most important thing is get to know what the requirements are for your cruise. Once you know what the requirements are, begin to prepare for it so that nothing will catch you unawares or will surprise you. So I hope that's been helpful, and I'll be releasing the video. I'm just showing you where to find this requirements online. I'm not going to go for each cruise, but for each cruise line, I'll show you where in the web page to find how you can know what the requirements are for vaccinated, unvaccinated. And so with that, I'd like to invite you to please subscribe, like, and also hit the notification bell. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like. And for those of you who don't know, subscription doesn't mean you have to pay anything, doesn't cost you anything, actually zero. The benefit is all yours, some of mine too. It'll help me a little bit if you subscribe. Subscription and hitting the notification bell helps you to know when I've released a new video, and I hope these videos have been helpful to you. So till next time, lay off Carnival, take that responsibility upon yourself and know what is going on the cruise you're preparing to go to. It's very simple. All right. So till next time, or the next video where I'll show you things to do to know what the requirements are. Have a fabulous day and enjoy preparing for your next fabulous vacation. Take care.